You pull up to the gas station. You need a full tank. But instead of just filling it up, you do something weird. You put in $20, then you stop. Not because $20 is enough, but because you're not sure what's left in your account. And $20 feels safer than finding out your card gets declined at a gas pump. You've been there. A lot of people have. Now picture the same gas station, same car, same pump. But this time, you just fill it up. You don't think twice. You don't do mental math. You don't hold your breath. Because you have $10,000 sitting in your account, and a full tank of gas is not even a decision. That one small difference, the $20 fill-up versus the full tank, tells you everything about what money stress really feels like day to day. And today, I want to show you exactly what changes when you hit that $10,000 mark. Not $1 million, not a paid-off house, just $10,000. By the end of this video, you are going to see that number in a completely different way. My name is Alex. I talk about money and why some people seem to build it easily while others stay stuck. If that interests you, subscribe and hit the like button. Let's get into it. Before we talk about what happens when you hit $10,000, let's be honest about what life looks like before you get there. When you have no savings, money controls you, not the other way around. Something breaks, you panic. Something costs more than you thought, you scramble. A friend invites you somewhere, you say no, or you say yes, and quietly stress about it the whole time. Every single day, you are making little money decisions in your head. Can I afford this? Should I wait? What if I need this money for something else later? That is exhausting, and most people don't even realize how much energy it takes. It just feels normal. But it is not normal. It is a heavy weight you carry every day without knowing it. Here is something important. When your brain is always worried about money, it cannot think clearly about other things. It uses up mental energy just trying to survive the week. So you make worse decisions, you feel more tired, you get more frustrated over small things. The people who need to make the best money decisions are often the ones whose brains are too stressed to do it well. That's the trap. So when I say $10,000 changes everything, I am not just talking about the number. I am talking about how your brain works every single day. That is what really changes. So what actually happens when you save $10,000? The first thing is your brain stops being in survival mode. When you live paycheck to paycheck, your brain is always on guard. It is always watching for the next problem. And money problems feel just like danger to your brain. It gets tense. It focuses only on right now. It can't think about the future. $10,000 doesn't make you rich, but it tells your brain, hey, we are okay, and that is a huge shift. When your brain feels safe, you start thinking differently. Instead of asking, how do I get through this week? You start asking, what do I want my life to look like in 1 year? That is a completely different way of thinking, and it opens up a lot of doors. There is also research that shows when people have savings, their stress levels go down physically. That means you sleep better, you think more clearly, you are easier to be around, all because your brain is not in constant worry mode. Now think about risk. When you have zero savings, every small risk feels huge. Asking for a raise? What if they say no and things get awkward? Trying something new at work? What if it doesn't work out? Looking for a better job? What if it takes 2 months and you run out of money? But with $10,000 saved, those same risks don't feel so scary. Nothing has changed about the risk itself, but your ability to handle a bad outcome has changed, and that makes you more willing to try things. And trying things is how your life gets better. Most people think a savings account is for when something goes wrong. And yes, that's part of it. But here is what is interesting. Most people who build up $10,000 never actually use it for emergencies. They use it for opportunities. They pay for a course that helps them earn more. They move to a better city. They say yes to something they would have had to say no to before. They take a few days off to rest without feeling guilty about it. The money just sits there. But knowing it is there changes what you do every day. And when something bad does happen, and it will, that's life. Having that cushion means it stays a small problem, not a big one. Your car needs $800 in repairs? That is annoying, but it does not ruin your month. It does not go on a credit card. It does not cost you weeks of lost sleep. Think about it this way. A $500 surprise bill when you have $200 in your account is a crisis. The same $500 bill when you have $10,000 saved is just a Tuesday. Same bill, totally different experience. That is the power of a cushion. It doesn't just protect your money, it protects your peace of mind. Here is something not many people talk about. What $10,000 does to your career. When you have no savings, you are stuck. Not in a big dramatic way, in a quiet, everyday way. You stay in a bad job because you need the next paycheck. You don't say anything when your boss is wrong because you can't afford trouble. You don't ask for a raise because you are scared of what might happen. You are working from fear, and fear is a terrible place to make decisions from. With $10,000 saved, that changes. Now you have what I call walkaway money. If things got bad enough, you could leave and survive for a few months while you find something better. You probably won't need to. But just knowing it is there makes you act differently. You speak up more, you ask for the raise, you go to that job interview without feeling like your whole life is on the line if it doesn't go well. And when you show up with that kind of calm, people notice. You get taken more seriously, you get better opportunities, not because the $10,000 opened some magic door, but because you stopped acting desperate, and desperate people, unfortunately, get treated that way. Let me tell you something that sounds boring, but is actually really important. Every choice you make uses up a little bit of your mental energy, even the tiny ones. By the end of the day, your brain is tired and your choices get worse. Now think about how many small money decisions a person with no savings makes every single day. Do I buy the cheap version or the regular one? Can I afford lunch out or should I eat at home? Should I fill the whole tank or just put in $20? Is it okay to spend $15 on this or will I need that later? That is dozens of little calculations every day, and each one takes something out of you. When you have $10,000 saved, most of those questions just go away. You are not stressed about a $15 purchase. You are not doing math at the gas pump. You just live your life. I heard someone say once that the first time they went to the grocery store after saving $10,000, they almost cried. Not because they bought fancy things, they bought the exact same food as always. But they could just pick what they wanted. No math, no second guessing, just normal shopping. That sounds small, but it is not. That mental energy gets redirected somewhere useful. Toward your goals, toward your family, toward doing better work. It all adds up in ways you won't expect. Here is the part I think matters the most, and most people completely miss it. Saving $10,000 doesn't just change your bank account, it changes who you are. Think about what it actually takes to save that much from zero. You have to say no to things you want. Many times. For months. You have to choose the future over right now, again and again, when right now is much easier. Most people don't do that, but you did. And now you have proof. Not a plan, not a promise to yourself. Real proof that you can control your money, that you can set a goal and reach it, that you are not someone who just spends everything they make. That changes how you see yourself. And how you see yourself changes every decision that comes after it. When you think of yourself as someone who saves, you make different choices every day. You don't throw away $10,000 on something stupid. You don't drift back to old habits, because that is not who you are anymore. The money is real. But the person you became to save it, that is worth even more. Here is something that is really satisfying once you understand it. Getting your first $10,000 is the hardest part. You are starting from nothing. The habits are not built yet. Every month feels like a struggle. But once you are there, the next $10,000 is easier. Not just because the habits are better, but because your money is now helping you. That $10,000, when you invest it, starts growing on its own. It makes returns. Those returns add to your total, and that total grows faster and faster over time. Here is a simple example. If you invest $10,000 and add $500 a month, earning 8% per year, your money doubles in about 5 or 6 years. Not just from what you put in, from your money growing by itself. At some point, your savings grow faster than you can add to them. Your money does the work for you. But none of that happens without the first $10,000. That is the starting point. That is where everything begins. Which is why getting there as fast as you can is the most important money move you can make right now. Here is something that messes with a lot of people's heads, and nobody talks about it honestly. You save $10,000, you feel good. Then you open Instagram or TikTok and someone your age is posting about their new car, or a vacation in Europe, or a house they just bought. And suddenly that $10,000 doesn't feel like enough. It feels like you are behind. But here is the truth. You have no idea what that person's bank account actually looks like. That new car? Probably a $600 a month payment they can barely cover. That vacation? Likely still sitting on a credit card. That house? There is a real chance they are stretched so thin that one bad month could unravel everything. Most people are really good at looking fine on the outside. They are not good at actually being fine on the inside. Here is a number that should make you feel better. The average American has less than $1,000 in savings. Not $10,000, $1,000. Which means if you have hit that $10,000 mark, you are already ahead of the huge majority of people around you. Quietly, without posting anything, without showing off. That is actually how real money works. The people who have it don't flash it. The people who flash it usually don't have it. So the next time you see someone online living what looks like a perfect financial life, just remember, you don't know their credit card balance. You don't know their stress levels at night. You don't know how close to the edge they actually are. What you do know is what's in your own account. And $10,000 in savings in the real world puts you ahead of most people. Okay, so how do you actually save $10,000 if you are starting from zero? First, don't try to do it all at once. That never works. People cut everything, feel miserable, and quit after 2 months. What works is small and steady. Pick an amount you can save every month, even $50. Set it to move automatically on payday, then forget about it. Small and automatic beats big and stressful every time. Second, find one thing you can cut, not 10 things, just one. A subscription you forgot about, a habit that costs more than it is worth. One small cut every month adds up to real money over time. Third, find one way to bring in a little more money. Sell something. Pick up extra hours. Do a small side job. An extra $200 a month is $2,400 a year. That gets you to $10,000 faster than you think. And the most important one, pay yourself first. Most people try to save what is left at the end of the month. There is never anything left at the end of the month. Move your savings on day one, before you spend on anything else. Then live on what remains. That one habit alone will do more for you than any budget spreadsheet ever will. Here is the simple version of everything we talked about today. $10,000 doesn't make you rich, but it does something more important. It makes you calm. It gives your brain room to breathe. It makes risks feel smaller. It makes opportunities feel real. It changes how you show up at work, at home, and in your own head. And the person you have to become to save it. Patient, focused, someone who keeps their word to themselves, that person will keep building long after $10,000 is just a starting point. So, if you are at zero right now, that is fine. Start small, start today. Even $25 this week is a real start. The number matters, but who you become getting there matters even more. Hit the like button if this helped, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.